I'm back with another one. This story takes place in an apartment that my sister and I had lived in. And one night we had a friend over for dinner. And after dinner, we were sitting around visiting, and I had to go back into my bedroom to get something. So I'm walking down the hall, and I passed my sister's room, but out of the corner of my eye, I could swear that I saw what looked like my sister sitting on her bed. She was facing the opposite direction on the opposite side of the bed, looking out the window. And I'm like, well, that's weird. My sister is out in the front room with our friend. So then I poked my head in the door and I said, Heather. And whatever it was turned its head around to look at me with the most evil grin on its face. And I went out there to the front room and told my friend and my sister to hurry, come look. But then, of course, by the time we got back there, it was gone. So that was kind of weird. And then at night, this was shortly after my grandfather had passed away. Well, I would wake up at night with an old man standing next to my bed. And he looked like he was dressed, like from the 1930s, and wore one of those brimmed hats and a suit. And I would, at first when I would see him, I would just cover my head up and, peek out, and then he would be gone. Well, it was happening almost every night. I'd wake up and I would see him. Well, after about maybe the fifth night, I was getting sick and tired of getting woke up because, I worked a 12-hour job 6 days a week. Had to be up early to be to work by 5 in the morning. And I was, my sleep was being interrupted. So on the last night of seeing him, he was reaching out to me like he needed help. And I said, you don't belong here. Leave me alone. And as soon as I said that, he got this look on his face that was like he was in total pain and agony, sadness. And it was like he just melted down into the floor. Like the Wicked Witch on The Wizard of Oz. And I had never seen him since then. Well, then, the next night after that, I got woke up again, but this time there was something on the opposite side, my left side of the bed. And it looked like the Grim Reaper, wearing the dark hooded cloak, but I couldn't see a face. It was just black under the hood. And I could hear it breathing. And I was like, oh, great. What is this? And I sat up in bed, and it stuck its head right up to my face. And I could feel its breath on my face. Hot breath. And it said in a scraggly, gruff voice, I know who you are. And I was like, you know what? You're not going to do this to me. I need my sleep. And I just said right back to it, I know who you are. And in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave me. And it disappeared. I have no idea what that was all about. There's a more recent encounter that happened. And I was living in an apartment, a brand new one, literally just opened up, and we moved into it. And I woke up to a sound, and right next to the bed, in front of the window, was a Victorian lady. And it looked like she was wearing a black mourning dress, like when, someone had died and they wear the mourning dress for a while because they're in mourning. And she had a white collar and she was holding a white handkerchief up to her chest, like using it because she was, like sniffling, wiping away tears. And that was just for a split second. I turned the lamp on and there was nothing there. Well, later, a couple days later, I had called the manager of the apartments and asked, what was this place before these apartments were built? And she said it was an old orchard, a farm. And she said there was an old house there. There were 2 houses on the property, actually. One was for the owners and one was for workers. And said, it would have been in the 1800s that house was there. And so I was kind of thinking, maybe something happened to the lady's husband and on that property when he was working or something. But she told me that the adjoining property up above these apartments have been there more, longer. So those were older. But she said the office up on that property, she said it doesn't matter if it's summer or if it's winter. There is no air conditioning in that office. And she said it is frigid cold. It's like 50 degrees all the time in that office building. And she says that she could sense, sense something there, like she was being watched. But, yeah, those are the stories that I have for you today. And if you haven't already seen my other story, The Night I Met Gloria, this is the house that it happened in, pictured above. So go over there and check that story out. I will leave the link in the description box for that video. Thanks for watching.